right, this first question is from one of our current clients. Says that he's in an area where yields weren't very good. Should he expect his basis to keep getting better?
And bases will never keep getting better. However, when you're in a short crop area, bases will fluctuate, usually higher at times because of local demand. As end users need crop from that area, either ethanol plants, hog producers, whatever, they will increase bases to get those bushels out of the bin. So at times, the bases will improve even greater maybe than what it is right now. But at other times, there'll be enough corn that moves to market where bases will widen. Because once there's enough corn for the end user to be happy, they will lower bases to shut off the spigot.
All right, another current client question. How do you think current prices will impact next year's planting decisions?
Not a whole lot. Current prices usually don't affect next year's decisions this early, except for maybe a few more acres having fertilizer costs on for corn. But farmers traditionally wait till planting time to make that final decision. The last 5 or 10% of what they have to plant, they will leave without fertilizer on and then make the decision based on where prices are in spring and how fast they're getting planting done. The faster they get it done, the better chance for good corn yields. So on a fast planting, more corn. On slow planting, usually more soybeans.
Okay. Another current client question. He needs to make a sale for cash flow and asked, should he sell corn or beans, and should I re-own what I sell via my hedge account?
I think there's a lot more risk with soybeans. With the Trump import tariffs maybe becoming greater, with China not really loving Trump and maybe rebelling against the U.S., there's that risk. However, the bottom line is that you guys don't put enough money in the hedge account usually to appropriately buy back soybeans. So if you're selling at this terrible price, you got to be pretty well off on cash flow to be able to handle the ups and downs of the soybean market. It is a lot easier to do buybacks in corn, a lot less margin money required. And I believe that because of that, you will stick with the position long enough to be successful. So I would recommend buyback corn.
All right, and then we have two questions from prospective clients. This first one was one that I talked to myself. He told me that he hadn't sold any of this year's corn crop and asked how would we be able to help him now with prices where they're at.
I would definitely make some cash sales right now because you have a limited risk to the downside. Something crazy happens in the world, a war explodes, some black swan that pushes prices down. You lose 100% on everything you've grown. I'd much rather have a percent of your crops sold and we would buy it back because this price isn't acceptable with a fixed risk position. You could do something like a future bought put, so-called above the market, targeting a fixed amount of reward, but also having a very limited risk. So if the market did crash, instead of losing penny for penny every bushel you have, you would only lose penny for penny on the bushels you haven't had sold. And on the ones you did on buyback, way less.
All right, another question, last question, also from a prospective client. This person was unfamiliar with HTA and basis contracts. It only sold using spot cash contracts. After we explained what each were, the question was then, is there a better time of year to consider using each type?
Seasonally, sometimes basis gets tight when farmers are not usually moving corn, i.e. Christmas, a 2-week holiday period. Guys don't want to be bothered by moving corn to market, so basis a lot of times will tighten at that time frame. Also during planting, traditionally basis will tighten somewhat. But really, you have to pay attention to your local buyers. When they need corn and they're not getting it out of the bins from farmers, that's when they will increase bases, raise bases up to enhance their ability to get corn out of the bins or beans. So it really is a little bit seasonal, but much more on local demand. That's basis. HTAs is what we do. This is what we try to pick out. We try to make cash sales at the top end of the range, and we tried to do HTAs, locking in the future side of the contract when we can't do cash sales. For example, right now, December 25 corn, we could buy probably forward price 20 or 30% if we got a good price. Going more above that level would be difficult because you guys don't know what kind of crop you're going to grow or even the acres you're going to grow. So if there's a really good price worth locking in, we can do it by simply going short December futures. That is just like an HTA when you're just locking in the futures part of the cash contract. You don't want to lock in basis as early because it'll be extremely wide. During the course of the year, we watch that HTA contract, and as basis tightens, we make the recommendation to complete that cash sale.